is playing, but they can still hear us. Alrighty, gang. We ready to show our delightful faces?
I'm ready to show my delightful voice.
This is the same paragraph we've gone from.
Oh, good morning, Vietnam! Except...
Everybody.
Oh, man, what a day. What a day, and it's just begun. Let me tell you, my arms are sore. I got beat by some SARMs goblins in the gym last night. It was a whole thing.
Because we have now officially started the Adventurous Arm Wrestling League.
The Adventurous...
happened.
These are just things that happen in my day-to-day life, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
99% of the time, I'm okay with being blind, but right now, I just really wish I could see Zach getting beaten at arm wrestling.
It was a little embarrassing, too, not gonna lie. I mean, the kid's strong, undeniably strong as fuck, but the fact that you can be that small and still hold your arm up to me, and, like, it took I had to fucking pivot my hips and use my entire core to pin that kid. Like, that kid is strong, folks.
Well, maybe you should do like Spanky said and watch, some arm wrestling, like, technique videos, and then, do rematches.
or some arm wrestling specific training.
Yeah, and maybe not have done a full workout.
God, yeah, that would have helped too.
It probably would have helped.
Facts. So, anyways, guys.
At the same time, if you hadn't have done the full workout and then you'd have still gotten beaten, that would have been extra embarrassing. So.
Yeah, that's true. At least I have a good excuse. So, anyways, y'all. Hey, we're Adventurous After Dark. Welcome to the show. This is Team Adventurous. We got a full fucking show map for you today, let me tell you. All kinds of fucking shenanigans. We may even shove a pickle up my ass. Who knows? Anything's possible on Adventurous After Dark.
And I'm back to being okay with being blind.
So, just a quick overview. We have an installment of Prose Police. We're going to be policing some a fan submission by Thomas Gottfried. Mm-hmm. We're going to have an installment of Gaius Sports. This one's for you, Mason. Then we're having an installment of AuthorTube News. We're going to be discussing Shamrock Publishing closing down and how we feel about that. And, of course, our follow-up finishing discussion, Why Wokeness Kills Art. So, that's the agenda for today. What do you say we get into it, gang?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, love getting into it. Records.
Police those bros.
Bad pros, what you gonna do when the Prose Police are coming for you? Bad pros.
Alrighty, so if you're not familiar with the segment, here's how this works. We like to rip people's anuses to shreds because we're mean, nasty people like that. And so we have been known.
Protect your starfish.
Zach's coming with a pickle. Protect your starfish. That's what he does when you beat him at arm wrestling.
It's like, well, I couldn't assert dominance on arm wrestling, so now I'm going to assert dominance the only way I have left. Get over here. You got a purty mouth. This is the quality of humor and conversation that you get on Adventurous After Dark, folks.
We are serious intellectuals, can't you tell?
Yes, there's
And the British accent just makes it so much better. Oh boy. All right, so this is 21st Century Angel by Thomas Gottfried. He's a fan of the show. I doubt he's watching right now because we've moved platforms, and I don't know if he got the announcement and whatnot, but I will be mailing him to let him know we did this and linking him the video and all that good stuff. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
The creature was horrific. It hung suspended in the air above the ashen fields, as it affixed to a myriad of invisible strings. It gazed down at the boys stoically, and as it hung there, suspended in space, the child took in every ghoulish detail of its biology. The lipless remains of a mortal mouth was concealed behind a rusting grate of metal embedded into the fleshy remains of its jowls. The rest of its bald skull had been completely mummified in the pages of an ancient tome. Whew! The text of its parchments bleeding onto the flesh concealed beneath. It had a litany of hieroglyphs and symbols etched painfully into the cadaverous drapes of skin that hung upon its bones. It was garbed in a tattered old robe, and its gaunt ribcage jutted out of its torso. Both hands of the ghoulish creature were held out to its sides, and in the palm of each a bulbous eye was embedded. The bloodshot orbs flickered about in the creature's palms, observing the child that stared up at its horrific majesty. Whew!
All
There's
right,
a lot.
okay,
Yeah.
It's gruesome, okay.
There's a lot to get into here, folks. Fuck yeah, okay. I can sink my teeth into this bitch. Alright, so first, the opening. The creature was horrific, period. I personally like that because that short, snappy sentence, we're instantly introduced that we're in we're looking at some horrid creature. That one sentence instantly makes me want to go to the next paragraph, which begins to deliver. It hung suspended in the air, myriad of invisible strings. So I'm instantly hooked. I think this had a pretty good hook. You guys?
Yeah, me too, man. This is it reminds me quite a bit of I don't know if either of you read The Demon Arter by Darren Shan.
I can't say I did.
It really reminds me the eyes in the palms of the hand reminds me of one of the demons from that. I cannot remember what his name was now, but it really reminds me of something that Darren Shan would write.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I like how it gets you right into it with all of the gruesome imagery, and it's not like it's super heavy-handed in its description.
It's also pretty vivid.
Yeah.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. I would
We're in.
definitely agree
If
with
you
that.
see this thing, either you want to be crazy or it's time to just end everything and get out of there quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Time to
Okay.
wish for a quick death.
They only wish for a quick death. It never comes.
No. But it seems like there's kind of this air of speculation about it.
Uh-huh.
As well as possibly horror, but not exactly. It's more of curiosity.
Now, hang on, guys. I'm sorry. I got distracted. I'm trying to make it so that the audience can... I just realized they couldn't see. There we go. Okay, my bad. I would just realize the audience could not see the actual thing we were critiquing. Okay, now I fixed it. All right. So yeah, I like that opening sentence and the openings and the sentence following it. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Mason?
I was going to say it makes me intrigued to find out what kind of world this is. Like, is this a, oh yeah, I've seen this sort of thing before? Or is it a, what the fuck is that sort of situation?
Right. That's a good point. That is it. Yeah, and we have 3 pages here. This is the prologue he sent me, so we might get to that. We might get an idea of that before it's over. I don't know if we'll do the full prologue. We will see. It gazed down at the boy stoically, comma, as it hung there, comma, suspended in space, comma. The child took in every ghoulish detail of its biology. Now here's where I'm going to say I think we're suffering from a little bit of comma puke. I don't think there needs to be 3 commas in that sentence. It gazed down at the boy stoically, comma, and as it hung there, yeah, that's where we could delete that second comma, and it would be appropriate. Then we would be fine. As it hung there, suspended in space, yeah, because we don't need suspended in space to be separated from as it hung there. That's the same idea.
I like that it's making no attempt whatsoever to go after the child. It clearly has all the time in the world.
That is an interesting little thing that's going on. I agree. And then as we actually get into this description of the creature, we start getting this grim, dark flavor. The lipless remains of a mortal mouth was concealed behind a rusting grate of metal, embedded into the fleshy remains of its jowls. Like, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then the rest, and that sentence... See, and that's one long, complex sentence with no punctuation, except for the period. And I actually think it worked. So, I'm thinking that maybe the thing above where he's comma puking might be a matter of he's trying to... 1 second. I had to blow my nose there. I think he might be trying to differentiate voice depending on what he's talking about. The good old writing it like you would narrate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I struggle with in terms of transferring from the way that I've written it to the way that I'm then going to narrate it when I, when I do the bleeding ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I would have to say, though, if you're writing in third person, it's best to try and steer away from writing as someone would speak. Unless, of course, you're writing in first person, then it's okay to structure the sentences more as if you were saying them as opposed to how you would be writing them.
Yeah. Hey, Kate, you're getting some buzz.
Okay.
The rest, okay, so moving on. The rest of its bald skull had been completely mummified in the pages of an ancient tome, the text of its parchments bleeding onto the flesh-concealed parchment. It had a litany of hieroglyphs and symbols, page 52. So the reading, the consistency of quality of sentence structure and punctuation is pretty consistent throughout this paragraph, so I don't feel the need to continue dissecting on a line-by-line basis. Let's move on with the reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Is that better?
Is what better? Your thingy?
Buzzing.
Seems it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so... As the boy looked upon it, he realized that there were dozens of similar eyes sewn into the saggy flesh of the monster, and each one looked at him with the ravenous insanity that oft occupied immortality. Whew! That's good! And let me tell you, that is oh god, okay. That's one paragraph, but it's also one sentence. As the boy looked upon it, comma, he realized that there were dozens of similar eyes sewn into the saggy flesh of the monster, comma, and each one looked at him with the ravenous insanity that oft occupied immortality. That's good.
That is good.
That's pretty good.
It's good.
Yeah, I like that. That was a well-structured sentence. It was gripping. Good language. That's that good shit. Yep, for
so
sure.
This creature has been created, by the sounds of it. Not a natural thing, which is interesting.
It does have that, yeah, because we specifically, the metal grate nailed into its face, eyes sewn in. This definitely sounds like an abomination that has been wrought by hands. I agree with you 100%.
The pages as well.
Oh, yeah. That's another good point. Yeah, so that gives us that this is probably some kind of a ritualistically created abomination.
Yeah, this is a golem of some sort.
I would it sounds like it said once human, so I think this used to be a person, Kate.
Yeah, so, I mean, because Frankenstein's monster was a golem. It was a construction of multiple parts that were once human, but technically, mythologically speaking, it was a golem because it was, natural elements put together and then imbued with a soul.
I think you're stretching, but I'll take it.
What's with these segments that we're policing having creatures that Valdus would have as a pet?
Dude, right? Okay. Slowly, the ghastly creature began to descend towards the ashen ground. Its bare feet, which upon closer inspection had bulbous eyes sewn into their tops, brushed against the gray stalks of grass, and slowly the twisted creature came to loom over the child. The boy shivered in its presence, and realized that he was naked before the awful emissary. He shivered as a frigid wind rushed across the gray fields. His eyes darted all over the horrid creature's body, frantically trying not to meet its infernal gaze. Well, that's gonna be kind of hard considering the fucking thing's covered in eyes. What the hell?
Oh, we found some more.
Oh!
It's a walking set of eyes. You're bound to make eye contact. I'm not happy. This thing has like many, many eyes, and I can't even get one.
Hello, good morning, Lauren. It's a pleasure to see you here.
Hello, Lauren.
I really gotta shorten that music so it's not like the whole 30 seconds. That was a long time to wait. But yes, welcome in, Lauren. Good to see you here. I hope you're having a good day. Always a pleasure to have you aboard. Thank you for the follow. She also follows us over on YouTube. Author Lauren Adele over on YouTube, where she makes content. You should go check her out.
'Cause she knows where it's at. I actually have a small critique of this bit.
Okay.
Yes, I actually have input.
Let's hear it.
So the kid shivered in its presence. Fair enough, but considering that shivered was then used in so close proximity again.
Yeah.
I think one of them should have been shuddered.
That's a good critique. That is definitely because it was within a sentence of each other. So yeah, that's definitely a good critique. Especially when we're not describing temperature. I could let it pass a little more if it was describing temperature, but because he's shivering in fear, I agree. A change up of the word would have been nice. We also saw that problem somewhere up here. I can't remember exactly where it was.
Also,
Was it ghoulish? It may have been ghoulish.
yeah.
But yeah, so there is a slight issue with repetition of words, but it's not glaring, but it is noticeable.
Yeah.
I don't think that one of them would have been bad if the other one had been changed to shuddered.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, I understand you 100%, and I agree. I do agree. As long as one of them was shudder, or even another word. Coward, the boy cowered in its presence. Trembled. Shook. Froze. Yeah.
Ran like fuck.
Right? Like, oh God, please, no, not my booty!
Right, and also the whole section where it says he realized he was naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see what he's doing there, but it's a strange word choice.
It implies either that this is a dream sequence or that he was there bereft of anything to defend himself.
Yeah,
Right,
defenseless. I think
that's the usage.
That's probably what he was going for.
100% that's the usage, and I actually like it because with this awful abomination we've been set in front of, using the more archaic poetic meaning of naked fits in with the described scene and the setting that we've got so far. So that's a good fit of language in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's consistent too because we've had affixed and oft and ghoulish. It's fairly consistent.
Right. Exactly. So I think it's that word choice is fine by me. He shivered his
I
frigid
think
wind.
we've also sort of skated over the fact that this clearly seems to be some sort of, fantasy dystopian world. The ashen ground, grey grass.
It very well may be, or like Caitlin said, it may be a dream sequence, or some kind of alternate dimension. Because remember, the book is titled 21st Century Angel, so based on the title and what we've seen so far, I think anything is on the table. This could be a dream sequence, a pocket dimension, a parallel reality, and because this is the prologue, we could go anywhere from here. So, yeah. So, overall, this is definitely something I would keep reading. I want to try to get through a little more of this.
Strong opening.
Yeah, this is definitely a strong opening. 100%. Okay, quite ironically, his eyes came to rest upon the parchment-enwrapped face of the creature. His eyes bore into the metal grate that sat over its mouth and looked upon the desiccated remains of teeth and jaws. Then he realized that the creature's silence was quite involuntary. There was no tongue within its shattered maw. There was not even the faintest remnant. Whew!
Oh.
I like what he's going for there. No tongue doesn't equal silence.
That's true. It could still be going like, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's true. It just
We
can't.
also got quite twice as well.
We did.
There is
We
an
did.
issue with word echoes.
Yep. There is definitely an issue with word echoing. And I will say, as someone who uses literary techniques in my own writing, I repeat a word multiple times to make a point. When you're doing that, you have to make the sentence, you have to structure the sentence in such a way that it's structured poetically, and it's very clear that you're taking poetic license. Just repeating a word in normal prose twice is when you start feeling like we're getting word repetition.
Yeah, and that's clearly what's going on here.
Yep.
Because you can tell the difference.
100%.
And why is it ironic that his eyes came to rest on the parchment?
That's a good question. I wouldn't have caught that. Thank you. That's a good question. Why is that ironic? Maybe it's because, oh, you know what? Oh, it's ironic. I see. No, I can actually answer that. I think he's saying it's ironic because he was trying to avoid the creature's gaze, and his face, and the boy was looking at the face where eyes should have been, but that's the only place there aren't eyes. I think that's why it's ironic.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're everywhere.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yep. That was okay. Clever. I like that.
Okay.
All right. There's a little bit of depth to this. All right. Yeah, no, this is...
Actually have to pay attention to get that one.
Right. Like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good so far. All right. We got time for a little more. A gargling rumble emanated... see, here you go, Mason. A gargling rumble emanated from the depths of the creature's throat, and the boy felt deathly afraid. The bleak sun that oversaw the ashen fields glinted in the distance, and steadily the horrid creature stepped forward. The boy's breath caught in his throat, and he tried to flee as the creature outstretched a gaunt, eye-covered arm. The child stared up into the maw of the eldritch beast and shivered. As it stood there, one arm outstretched, more unintelligible gurgling emanated from its mouth. The child realized that the creature was futilely attempting to talk to him. The gurgling rasps grew progressively shrill, as if the thing was growing angry with its inability to communicate. Oh, God, there is a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
The implications, what I love, this guy's pretty good at fitting a lot of world building into the subtle language he chooses to use.
Yeah.
Yep.
This guy's definitely got a talent for innate in prose world building. We get where was it? Bleak Sun, that's a good setting one, but I'm more so talking about the stuff that hints at the lore. Like so this line, the child realized that the creature was futilely attempting to talk to him. The gurgling rasps grew progressively shrill, as if the thing was growing angry with its inability to communicate. So that makes my mind ask a bunch of questions about the nature of this creature. Because it's not...
No, it's a monster.
Right. It kind of seems like it might. And it kind of seems like it's been living such a tortured existence for so long that it wants to communicate and be friendly and ask for help, but it's also, like, pissed off, like, fucking asshole, why aren't you helping me, you son of a bitch? Like, so that...
Lauren asks, what were you guys policing?
Oh, so this was a submission from a fellow fan of the show, Lauren. It's 21st Century Angels, or 21st Century Angel, I'm not quite sure which one, because I'm not looking at the title right now, but it's by Thomas Godfried, and he submitted this to our Adventurous Publications at Gmail, and it's like I said, it's been pretty good so far.
But the other thing that's implied here is possibly maybe this thing was awakened after having been turned into this thing after a while ago.
Yeah.
And to get, and is now trying to communicate.
Yeah, how much awareness it has is something that I'm really intrigued by.
That is a good question. I am sorry to hear you were having trouble over your LARP, Nicole.
Yeah.
That definitely, social politics definitely suck. I'm sorry you had to put up with that. Okay, but you're here now.
I still think there's a few small issues in that section. Again, shivered again is just something that I think that I would notice if I was reading it.
That one's graded on you, I can tell.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't get over it.
and this kid is reacting so chill.
Right.
which kind of speaks to the fact this might be a dream sequence, or this creature has some kind of extra special ability to subdue the kid or hypnotize him or something. One of the two.
Or this is a dystopian reality and things like this are a common occurrence.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, some sort of nuclear, like a mutation sort of situation.
Yeah, but considering the eyes are sewn in,
Right.
Yeah, and the metal over the mouth too.
Yep. Yeah, no, this sounds more like a Warhammer 40k Chaos situation where, yeah, Chaos fucks them up a little bit, but they also fuck themselves up. So.
Right.
Okay. The child stared up into the maw of the eldritch beast, blah, 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 blah. The boy stood there trembling and tried to shrink away, but the creature's horrid majesty kept him utterly transfixed. Yeah, see, so I think what we're dealing with here is that this creature is actually so... Well, he's described as being an eldritch beast, and here we get the creature's horrid majesty kept him utterly transfixed. So what we have here is a boy who is... He's literally so terrified he can't move. He's witnessing something his brain comprehend, and his brain is blue screening right now.
Error.
Error! Get it the fuck away! Error!
Recomputing. Oh,
He's got the Microsoft error noise in his head.
Damn.
Yeah, they want me to have a chaperone due to being blind and just saw red.
Right. That's pretty fucking bullshit, I agree.
Yeah.
They should...
Me too.
You should tell them to fuck off. That's what I would be like. I'd be like, hey guys, how about you chaperone my fist into your ass? Just escort my right knuckle right up to your small intestine.
Just use a pickle. Keep your hand clean.
There you go. That's the spirit, Mason. Give him the old one. Give him the old razzle dazzle.
Yeah.
Ableists can get fucked. That's what I say.
Alrighty, so then we have then reality rippled above the outstretched hand of the phantasmal wretch. Then reality rippled above the outstretched hand of the phantasmal wretch. A book melted into existence. A large, heavy tome enwrapped in tarnished manacles and locked shut. Its cover was heavy and detailed, bound with mighty leather and adorned with millions upon millions of runes and hieroglyphs, many of which had never yet come to grace the universe. Okay, yeah, so this is some kind of extra dimensional abomination. This thing is straight up eldritch in nature. This is interesting. So I wonder if he's writing this in as an extension of the Lovecraft canon.
It could
Mighty
be.
leather is tight.
Tarnished manacles are tight. You see what I did there? Because they're manticles.
Explaining jokes is tight.
Explaining yourself to the audience is tight. Honestly, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Seriously, though, when it stretched out its hand and the magic started happening, my eyebrows literally shut up. I was like, oh, okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
Boris says resolve all issues with your fist. Thanks, Zach.
Hey, you gay.
Will Smith does.
That's what I'm talking about. Give him the old razzle dazzle, the old 1-2, 1-2. You know what I'm saying? Like Oh, wait, I just realized the stream can't see me. God damn it. Hang on. For four
Yeah, no, I
cuts.
can confirm that joke was strange if you can't see what's going on.
Okay, just hang on a second here.
Hang on while I repeat the joke, now that you can see.
You know what? You know what you limey get. Oh.
Oh my god.
I want to know more about this, though. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So okay, we'll keep going. I'll forget the joke. It's dead now, just like this kid.
Just like your dignity after arm wrestling.
Oh, facts. Those SARMs goblins got me good. I'll ask them for a rematch. They seemed like they were chill dudes. I'll ask them for a rematch after I trade a little bit.
Best 2 out of 3.
The boy stared up at the book, and with a surety that transcended his reason, he knew he wanted to open it. He needed to read what was contained within its ancient, timeless, eldritch pages. The book called to him. It beckoned him forward, drawing his unblemished hands towards it like a lure of the most masterful artistry. That's a good paragraph. That's a good paragraph.
I know that we've had a few technical issues and a few nitpicks, but this guy's got something.
Yeah, this guy's definitely got something. I agree. This needs to be finished and published. And sir, if you would,
the juice.
He's got the juice. He's got the sauce. Yeah, man. And sir, if you watch this and you would be so inclined, once we get Adventurous Publications off the ground, we would be happy to have you aboard. The boy's hands inched towards the suspended book greedily. His fingers twitched longingly, and as he neared the forbidden tome, the creature bent its misshapen knees and presented the hovering book to him. The myriad eyes stitched upon the creature glinted knowingly as the boy's fingers closed around the corners of the back. As he clutched the object to his chest, the horrid monster rose back to full height and drifted back into the air. Slowly, it began to rise into the bleak sky, and as it departed, an awful, inhuman, otherworldly gurgling rasp echoed from the depths of its desiccated jaws. As it drifted up into the ashen sky, the boy realized it was laughing. Fuck! Okay.
Awesome.
Oh man. So the chief. Oh no, shiny. Oh, wait, hang on.
She says, "Oh, shiny, no harm looking in this magic book."
Right.
Yeah, that's yeah.
This monster with a metal mouth and pages stitched to it and eyes stitched into it has just presented me with a book that it managed to get out of thin air. It's bound in mighty leather and manacles, but hey, I want to look inside.
Oh, she also says, "What ads? No."
Oh damn. Yeah. Sorry, Lauren. Okay. Well, I'll wait to keep reading until we think she's back.
I love that the creature's like, my work here is done.
Right?
Alright.
Okay. So, yeah, that creature, that is fucking horrid shit, man. And I absolutely love the descriptive language, and what I was gonna say there before the comments caught my attention was that, man, oh man, this book is, this whole thing really is pretty much spotless, except for a few misgivings in punctuation and the repetition, the word repetition issue.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this whole thing really is very good.
I mean, the fact that we all reacted that exact same way at the end of that, at the end of that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think anything from Prose Police has had a reaction of "Oh!" from all of us.
No.
That's true. That's true. That is something of a first. Caitlin, you should clip it out. Just take the note. About 38 minutes in the stream, or well, around that time period. We'll look around there and look for all of us going. Ah!
Yeah.
Yep, we'll clip that out.
The journey that I've just gone on with this monster. So it started out like, oh god, this is horrific. God, run! Or, get a quick death. Get away from it, quick! And then it sort of went through to, okay, is this some sort of tragic monster? You know, a human
Right.
that's been forced into this situation. Is it trying to communicate with him? And then, no, it's just giving him a magic book and flown off laughing. So yeah, it's full-on evil creature.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but Lauren says at least it's better than 3 Twilight.
I hope you're talking about the ads with that one, Lauren. I hope you're talking about the ads. Okay. Ooh. So I want to finish this because my eyes just locked onto the last sentence and it intrigues me. So I want to get all of this done, and then we'll do closing comments and wrap up. Okay, last 2 paragraphs. Here we go. Then he heard the book. It whispered to him in a numberless list of languages and dialects. It taunted and enticed him. It pleaded with him to open it. It promised him riches and knowledge untold. The boy licked his lips and went to pry the tome open, only to be reminded of the chains that enwrapped it. The lock would not budge, and the rusting chains were utterly unyielding. The boy frantically tried to force the book open, but then the sun went out. The ashen fields turned to dust. The sky rolled up like a scroll, and the ground he was standing upon fell away into limitless, fathomless abyss. The boy cried out and clutched the book to his chest as he fell. He tumbled head over heels into a darkness of absolute totality. His cries echoed about in the gloom, and as they did so, he suddenly became aware that he was not alone. There were creatures lurking in the darkness with him. Horrid creatures. As he fell, he realized that one reigned above all. He could feel it watching him. He could not see it, but as its gaze fell upon him, he became aware that it was a spider sitting at the center of a universal web. It was a shopkeeper, stocking its shelves with mortal lusts and clandestine sins. It was a void in which virtue was vice, black was white, and the walls of the world were colored in pheromones. Then the darkness fell away, and the boy woke up. Yep, I would instantly buy this book. I would, if I was in a store and I picked this up and I read to that point, I'd be like, yep, check out, please.
Yep. Be like, you are coming home with me.
Yep, this is good.
You did a delightfully eldritch, slightly terrifying thing.
And what,
Slightly terrifying. Why is your idea full-on fucking terrifying? Slightly terrifying?
My idea of full-on terrifying is a little different than a lot of people's idea of full-on terrifying.
Wow.
I'll tell you this. This actually reminds me of an experience I had when I was a kid. I've talked about it before publicly, but I think all those lives were deleted by people who shall not be named.
Yes.
So just really quick, I'm going to re-mention it. I had this dream where I saw the incarnation of death in the alley behind my house. Or I don't think it was a dream. I think I was awake and I actually saw a demon. But whether I saw a demon or whether it was a dream, I saw death behind my house and I fell into his eyes. and I was in darkness for a very long time. And it sounds like this guy may have had a similar experience based on what he just wrote.
Yeah, I was gonna say, something tells me this dude has vivid dreams.
Yeah. So, man, I read this last section here, these last 2 paragraphs, and it was like, wow, someone else gets it.
See, I feel like I had sort of an opposite experience, because I'd be reading all of that, and I'd be getting so into it, and then it'd be a dream sequence, and I feel like I'd just be a bit like, it was, my reaction to it was just a bit like, oh, really? I wanted it to be real.
Well, based on, again, the fact that it's 21st Century Angel, and I just get the feeling that in a very real sense, it was real. You know what I mean? In a very literal sense. Not to have that same repeating word issue. But yeah, I think
It's going to be one of those situations where they're living 2 lives, isn't it? Something like that. That's what I would guess at this point, where it's going to be dude has real life and then has fucked up dream world life.
Yeah, that or this is a dream that's premonition.
Yeah, it could be a premonition, or it could be that he was dreaming, but his mind was actually in a real place that exists. The alternate dimension thing is still on the table too. And frankly, with the Eldritch thing being so heavily leaned into, to flat out
mention it.
Right, exactly. He literally mentioned it twice, and the writing is perfectly on point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 100%.
That's not something I know a lot about. So.
Not me either. I just started reading Mountains of Madness this year. Or no, actually, did I start that? I started reading at some point, and I haven't finished Mountains of Madness yet because it's like, Jesus Christ, dude, stop describing everything in inches and square feet and exactly how many square cubes and how many fucking steps you took and how many pictures you took of that thing and how this thing's lines were shaped. Shut the fuck up and get to the story, HP.
There's the guy that had an entire chapter dedicated to how a sword was made.
Hey, yo, fuck you, mate!
An entire chapter.
Hey, yo, fuck you, mate!
Step process of how it... First we poured this in, and then I stirred it counterclockwise for half an hour.
Oh man, I would say though the title being Mountains of Madness is really, it was just code for, hey, read this and it will drive you mad with all of the details.
Mountain of details.
Details. And Lauren said, I agree, I def want to read it written very well.
Yes, 100%. 100%. So, to Thomas Godfrey, we charge you of word repetition and minor punctuation indiscretions. These are misdemeanor offenses. Few hours of editing is your sentence. And this has been Prose Police. Well, first, do my co-hosts agree with that sentence and accusation?
Yes.
I concur.
This has been Prose Police.
Bad prose, what you gonna do when the Prose Police are coming for you? Bad prose.
Yeah. That was good. I like that. That yeah, man. I'm gonna ask him if that's gonna be out anytime soon, and it would be really cool if we get Adventurous Publications up in time to publish that guy, because that would be good shit. Man.
We need to dive back into that again at some point, into the rest of the stuff that he sent you, because I am intrigued.
Yeah, well, truth be told, that's all he sent me. We got through everything. We got through every word he submitted for policing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm definitely telling him, look, man, even if you don't want to publish through us, let us review this when it's done, because you're out here doing what indie authors should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was good shit. Okay. So, let me pull up my show map here. Now, on to something a little bit lighter. Something not quite related to writing, more so related to the lives that many writers have had to live. Let's talk about gay sports for a second. Okay, so here's the thing about WWE Wrestling, okay? You got a bunch of guys, and they're all wearing man panties and go-go boots, as my friend Caitlin so eloquently put it. Alright? And they got this long, majestic, flowing hair, and they're rippling with muscle, obviously taking the naughty sauce, okay? And they walk down this ramp, just doing the most bombastic poses, highlighting often their genitalia. Their man panties are stretched taut against their supple butt cheeks like it's anime, okay? And then they get in this ring, and they grab all over each other, and they throw each other around, and I shit you not, one dude's special move was violently ramming his junk into other dudes' faces, okay? Alright, that was literally one dude's special move. We had another dude who would pull a sock out of his pants, put it on his hand, and then choke someone with it. That's Mick Foley. That's Mankind. That was my favorite wrestler as a kid, because that's the kind of kid I was. So yeah, don't you tell me for a second that WWE Wrestling isn't gay.
Sometimes you just have an urge, and you need to see some sweaty men trying to pin each other down.
And
Sometimes you need to live vicariously.
Oh, man. And let me tell you, folks, there's nothing wrong with the homosexuality of it all. Let's just be honest about what it is, okay? Let's just be honest with ourselves, okay? It's like this is the most homo. Go ahead.
I'm 100% honest with myself about it. It's just, to be honest, it's one of the things that appeals to me about it.
He's like, I find the homoeroticism quite hilarious.
I never said hilarious. I never said it was funny. I said appealing.
Oh, so you're that flavor of degenerate, you naughty, naughty boy.
Nikki says male version of next top model.
I'd let a few of them pin me down if you put a bag over their head first.
Oh, God.
They'll let them down.
Jesus Christ, bro. Alright, that's more than I ever needed to hear about Mason in the Dark, folks, let me tell you. But I don't, you know what, for that matter, it's cool. We're separated by a whole ocean. Just remind me to never be in the dark with Mason.
You're not quite oily enough for me, so.
You've never seen me! How do you know how greasy I am or am not?
However greasy it is, it's not greasy enough. I need to literally not be able to hold you in my hand.
Oh my God!
Besides,
It's like a
even if
bar.
we're in the same room, I'm taken.
That's true.
Like, you know what? I've been in a relationship, a dedicated, loving relationship for 9 years, but oh my God, I'm in the same room as Zach, and now I've got to get my piccolo.
I bet you would, because you know what?
Irresistible, Zach. I don't care whether I'm blind or not. You're not that irresistible.
You only say that because you're separated by half the world. Once you get in the same room as me and you smell my salty garbage musk, you'll change your tune. Also, Caitlin, note down the time. Note down the time really quick. My salty garbage musk. Shout out to my boy Garbage over here on Twitch. He be streaming games and shit. That dude's chill.
Oh my god, Nikki says, oh my, do you two need a private room?
Definitely not.
I don't know. How much you paying?
Yeah. If you guys
Never enough.
If you guys sub enough, we might make that happen.
I mean, you guys have already promised to get your starfishes out.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. If they're... Hey. 10 million followers. My starfish comes out on stream, okay?
That's right. Yep.
Mine's always out. That's why I'm in the dark.
Oh, man. That is good.
He was like, these silk panties I was alluding to wearing earlier are actually a thong.
Look, I told you they're comfortable, alright? I found them as I was walking along the canal. I tried them on and they were comfortable.
That is a
I mean, I had
profound...
to dry them off first, because, you know, canal water, but...
Like, that's why you... Oh, hi, Danger! Says, I wonder how many times we forgive someone just because we don't want to lose them.
That is a profound question. Quite off topic, but a profound question, and one that I have often thought about myself.
Yeah, and welcome to the adventure, Danger.
Yes, thank you, Caitlin. Thank you.
Welcome
to the
adventure.
There. Well, now you got it in deep British narration, so I can't beat that. Welcome.
That's the first time I've ever had a chance to say it, so I feel bad that I've been on for 3 weeks and haven't had a chance to say it. So I thought I'd just jump in there.
There you go. Hell yeah, man.
I'm all excited because you've been talking about wrestling, so.
Things we learn about Mason.
You know nothing.
Yeah, he's like, you only know what I want you to know.
You have merely scratched the surface
Of my bowels! These nuts! Caitlin, write that time down. Shout out to D's Nuts over on his fucking Twitch. That dude's also chill as fuck. You've only just scratched the surface of D's Nuts! Yeah, so that folks, that is why WWE Wrestling is just the gayest sport that no one calls gay. Caitlin, you know what I just realized?
What?
For the next segment, we haven't included Mason in the stinger yet. I gotta make a new stinger for AuthorTube News.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
It's funny because I was wondering about that, but I also didn't want to ask about it and seem really conceited. Like, have you added me into the stinger yet, Zachary? I've been on the show for a whole 3 weeks. Am I in the stinger yet? And while we're at it, the description on Twitch says 2 authors, 1 mission. Am I not an author?
Oh, that's right.
Yep, that's right. Caitlin, you gotta fix that. And I mean, technically speaking, Team Adventurous is actually a group of authors, because Team Adventurous also includes Pei and Sammy. So...
Who are 2 fucking awesome people, by the way.
Right. Yeah. We definitely love Sammy and Pei. Both of them for... Sammy is just this delightful little ball of sunshine, and then Pei, you know, just is the old philosophical, grumpy old man. God, that guy's like an estranged brother to me.
Sam, you go over to her channel, Greener Side of Sam on YouTube, and you just get all this wholesome, like, Now I'm reading poetry with my daughters, and I'm singing these beautiful, haunting songs. And you go over to pay, and that's just like, it's like drinking a Pangalactic Gargle Blaster.
What the fuck is that?
Go and look it up, Philistine.
Okay. Alright, bitch. I see how it is. Call me a Philistine. Alright. That's fair.
I just would have thought you'd have known what it was since you've referenced Hitchhiker's Guide before.
Oh, dude, I haven't seen that. I've never read the book, and I haven't seen the movie in a while. And it was only... It was like a 6 out of 10 for me, you know? I enjoyed it, I'd watch it again, but it wasn't like my favorite movie or anything.
So disappointed in you sometimes.
I said I liked it!
A 6 out of 10? It opens with singing dolphins.
He's like,
Both hilarious and cute. That instantly makes... That alone makes it a 6 out of 10.
Mason, look. You and your British sense of humor need to sit the fuck down. Because it's not that funny, my guy.
Yes, it is. It really is. I will fight you, and I will die on this hill.
I bet. That sounds like something you'd be willing to do, you limey git.
Dying on hills is what British people do.
Historical joke! Oh, that's good. For a hill they would kill, why they do not know. Oh, God. Only on Adventurous After Dark, folks. Do you get talking about gay sports followed by an improv Metallica rendition? So, anyways, let's get to the meaty, the heavy parts of today's show. We're going to talk about some problems in publishing, and we're going to fill you in a little segment we call... All right, so some fucky shit is happening in the world of publishing, man, and we're gonna talk about it here today. So this place called Shamrock Publishing apparently was a big horror publisher, and they actually had a pretty decent reader base and author base, and they announced a new book coming out in one of their authors' series. And suddenly, everyone backlashed, and the publisher went from having a happy reader base and being well established and all that good shit to shuttering its door in 48 hours. To you with more, Caitlin.
all right. Well, Zach, the report that I found is by locustmag.com, and I will put it in the description when we clip this out and put it on YouTube. This was talking about Silver Shamrock closes. They were, as you said, a small horror press, and they closed the weekend before April 4th, because that's when this article was dated. And basically it says here, I'm just going to read the tweet real quick from the publisher himself. He says, "I'm sorry I've been quiet for so long about this matter. I've been working hard behind the scenes talking to Ken M., the actual head of the publisher." This was by the editor-in-chief,
Right.
Kenneth Kane. Both of them were named Ken, which gave me a slight heart attack because the only big-time, small-time horror publisher that I'm aware of in the horror sphere is Kenneth Christ from Black Petals. So I had a slight panic and was like, is this the same Ken that I know? is everything okay? But then I found out that it wasn't, so I was very happy. But so,
It's not my cancer. Who cares?
it's like that. It's fine. You guys
Also,
are okay.
Also, let me just name drop this person here that I know. No big deal. Just a little indie paper.
Right, yeah. Well, anyway, so let's see here. Okay, artists, authors, reviewers, readers, just about everyone. I haven't slept much at all because of that, so I apologize for any typos ahead of time. But I was doing my best to do what was right for everyone involved. Here is the end result of that effort. As of now, Silver Shamrock Publishing is no more. All rights revert to all authors. Their books will be taken down per their request, staying up only long enough for them to buy extra copies if they'd like. I can be a middle person contact for that. If anyone is interested, let me know. Please do not hold anything against the authors, especially for things that are or were out of their control. And please buy these copies, as 100% of the profit will go to them. So, yeah. So yeah, their royalties will be paid out in full, and all Silver Shamrock books will be taken down accordingly. Please contact me with any questions you may have, but understand I need sleep and may not get back to you right away. I appreciate your patience as I work on this. So yeah.
What the hell was the book?
So to get to that, it was written by this author called Jean O'Neill, and they said that the closure is the result of a controversy that followed the publishing company posting the cover and back copy for the beginning of this series called The White Plague Chronicles. And so, to sum it up, the series is about a disease that was created to genetically target and kill only members of the Caucasian race. So basically a global pandemic that was started for that purpose. And then after that was released, that is really the only thing that is out as far as any kind of info on the premise of the book. You cannot get the actual back copy or cover anywhere because apparently it has been scrubbed. But yeah, that is the only inkling of what the series is. And after that, all of the authors were like, nope, we're not publishing with you anymore. And they pulled out. And that's why they had to close their doors, because all of their authors and their audience decided to boycott them.
Kate, the buzzing is trying to overpower you again, by the way.
Okay. I think.
Yeah. Now, while Caitlin's fixing that, let me just say, folks, I think what those authors did was chicken shit. I think what the publisher did was chicken shit. I think the guy should have been allowed to publish his book, and the market should have been allowed to decide whether or not it was good. Because based on what I just heard, I don't think there's a problem with that book in and of itself.
Mhm.
No, I'm struggling to find where the controversy is in that, and to be frank, I am, I'm fairly on the other side of the spectrum politically to Zach and Kate, so, it would be quite likely in this sort of scenario that I would see the controversy. Not entirely sure why, because it's not the first book to be about a genetically modified disease that targets a specific group of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's literally a popular anime out right now that's a love story anime where a disease went around that killed all men, and there's like half a dozen dudes left on the planet.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, this idea that it's okay for one culture to make stories that contain certain concepts and not okay for another culture to make those same stories, that's bullshit on its face. So what does Japan get a pass because they haven't had the same historical track record as the same political climate and social climate as we have? Do they get a pass because they're not apologetic in what stories they tell? They don't fucking cancel their own storytellers for no good fucking reason. I think this whole thing is so contrived and pushed by the algorithm, and something that big tech probably did with the fucking Twitter algorithm. And I know that's a little tinfoil hat, but we know they do. We literally know for a fact they do shit like that. Like, they've confessed to it in open court that they do shit like that. So yeah, it's not a stretch to me.
Yeah, and Lauren says, "Is it because it targeted Caucasians? I see nothing wrong with it."
Yeah, it's like, and you would think everyone on this stream right now is a white person. You would think if there was an actual problem with that premise, where all white people are being targeted by a virus, that the white people who are being targeted would have something to say that it was. But no, it's fine. Like, it's not even that hard to believe.
I really want to be careful here because I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble. The only thing that I can imagine that people would have had a problem with is if it was created by somebody that wasn't Caucasian.
I think the guy was, though, and let me tell you, even if it was a black author or a Muslim, Muslim isn't a race or ethnicity, I apologize, a Middle Eastern author, or
I wasn't talking about author anyway. I was talking about in the story.
Oh, okay. I guess there could be.
Even then, I don't see why it would be that much of a problem, but I can see maybe why people would be a little bit.
I could see how that could be inflammatory for sure, but a lot of the best and most important stories throughout history are very inflammatory.
Yeah.
So, people need to be allowed to tell stories. Storytelling and comedy are the places where free speech is most important. And if you can't tell good stories and you can't joke about stuff, you don't have free speech.
Well, the whole point here is that the book wasn't even out.
That's true too. Right.
If it had been out and it was a judgment that people were making on the actual text and the story, the symbolism and the messages that are being delivered, fair enough. It wasn't even out yet.
I agree with that 100%.
And also, bad form for all of the authors who published with that publisher, because you shouldn't punish your publisher for doing business.
Right.
Let the public scrutinize and decide and do whatever it is that they are going to do, because everybody knows nothing sells copy like boycott.
Hey Kate, hold that thought for a second. We basically already started talking about the discussion segment. We just flowed right into it, so I didn't even do the second stinger for to close out AuthorTube News. Exactly. The AuthorTube News segment really segued perfectly into the We Are a Genius discussion segment, so I just had to fucking throw the stinger in there. Just for procedure's sake. I run a tightly loose ship around here.
Hey! It's a reference.
Oh no, that's just a thing I say now. Like, that's gonna have to be on merch and everything.
Yep. Tightly loose ship around here.
I run or loosely tight, whichever, because I'm gonna use them interchangeably.
Yeah, because it's very good to change your pickles.
Yeah, you don't want them rotten. You don't want them rotten up there. That would be very bad.
We were almost having an intellectual conversation.
So close, Mason. We were this close. And just so you know, Mason, I'm holding my fingers up and just like there's like a grain of rice in between my thumb and pointer finger, buddy.
So close.
So close.
Oh man! But
to get us back on track to having an intellectual discussion, bad form on all of the authors.
Yeah.
Because you let it be published and let the public scrutinize and judge.
Right.
And
Because they will.
And because they will, exactly. And not just bad form, but incredibly short-sighted and self-defeating. Because now you've helped reinforce a precedent that if someone says something that you don't like, you get to make sure they can't speak. And so what's going to happen now when you want to say something that someone disagrees with? You have perpetuated a sickness that is running through our culture. The sickness of, I don't like what he says, silence him. That shit is cultural cancer, and you are all guilty of reinforcing it. Fuck each and every single one of you from the heart.
Well, to be fair, though, what you're talking about is, reactionary reactions, because I can talk. But in this situation, it's not even reactionary because the thing hasn't happened yet.
Right.
The book wasn't out. The person hasn't said anything, so they're being silenced before they've even opened their mouth.
Yeah.
So I would reframe that a little bit. They've said what their story contains. But like you said earlier, we don't have the message yet. We don't have any of the symbolism, any of the actual elements of the story, and we don't have any of the author's comments about the story. We have literally no idea where he was taking that. It could have been one of the most unifying and humanitarian message-ass books ever, but now we'll never know, probably. Because the guy's probably been...
Is key.
Context is always key. And and this is where it gets a little bit political. The people left of center, especially the woke mobs on Twitter, they always want to just knee-jerk reaction for the most outrage, for the most clicks. They're fucking dopamine junkies who are in their echo chamber, and they are a cultural cancer, as far as I'm fucking concerned.
Well, they are like a group equivalent of that person that, we all know at some point in our lives that likes to, just read like the first line of a text and base their entire summation of what it was you were trying to say.
It's even worse than that.
Just gets all mad and stuff for absolutely no reason when the rest of it had nothing to do with the thing that they invented to be mad about.
Well, and it's not even just that. It's that they're all Karens. Like, is there anything more Karen than I'm upset so everyone else should be upset about this thing too? Like, that is the most Karen, but that's literally cancel culture. That's literally what it is. It's Karen mob the culture. It's like, you people are exactly the thing you purport yourselves to hate. I'm not impressed.
Exactly. Or the whole thing of, that feeds into the fact that they decided that they were going to demonize the publisher for selling it. Instead of, going after, okay, the author was the one that wrote this. They're the ones that are responsible. Lay it at their feet. Okay? Lay all the judgment and scrutiny at their feet. They are the ones that manifested this. That's just how it should be. Not, hey, let's create all of this, huge catastrophe.
I apologize.
No problem.
It's okay. But, like, this huge catastrophe of collateral damage because now everybody that worked at Shamrock Publishing have lost their jobs.
Right. Everyone who worked for the press, all the authors who wrote for them. And I would actually disagree. I would disagree with you to a certain extent, Kate. As a publisher, you have a responsibility to curate the content in your library. That's literally in the legal definitions in our country.
Yeah.
However, your responsibility as a publisher is only to make sure that you are not publishing things that are blatantly, irrefutably unconscionable, like, I don't know, promotion of pedophilia, left-wing presses, and stuff like a glorification of Nazism, that's the kind of stuff that you as a publisher should say, look, we're not fucking publishing you. Stuff
Right.
that has, 100 different ways it could go and is not innately, evil or inflammatory. It's just a story concept. Silencing your author based on that is the most chicken. I can't respect it. It's disgusting. Shamrock Publishing should be ashamed, and all those authors should be ashamed. Like, it just boggles my mind. Like, it used to be publishing was the bastion of free speech.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what their financial status looked like as far as their numbers and stuff, but from a business standpoint, with this happening the way that it did, on principle, as a publisher, you have responsibility if something like this goes down to be like, okay, you know what? You need us more than we need you. Bye. That's fine. Leave.
Right.
If that's what you want to do. Here's all your rights and the money that we owe you for sales. Go.
Peace. Peace out.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree
Don't
100%.
close doors.
I 100% agree. That's where a little bit of bravery and just bravery and principle and actually having the guts to stick to your principles comes in. It's like, come on, just a little bit of a nutsack. I'm not asking you to fight a bear barehanded. Just fight a bear barehanded. I was barely able to stand it.
It sounds like it would be effective if you were to fight a bear barehanded, because then you would have...
It's more effective than using your human hands.
Yes, exactly.
I transformed into a bear, then I bit him on the neck, ripped out his hair, got to the sticky meat underneath, sank my teeth in deep.
Bars.
Right?
Bars.
I want bear shifters. You've got wolf shifters. I want bear shifters, mate. I want Beorn,
You do.
like an entire race of them.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be crazy if that existed?
That would be awesome.
Anyway, I do have a bone to pick though, in terms of there's a pretty sweeping statement that all people that would identify as left of center are the way that you described them, basically.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that if I took a political compass test, I'm pretty sure that I would come. I would definitely fall left of center.
Right.
But here's the thing, right? I'm not gonna go. As far as the whole cancel culture thing goes, right? For the most part, I just leave people to it.
Right.
I'll stand by my own beliefs. So I've done my best not to talk about this entire situation on my channel, but I guess we're getting into it now. I've had my love for the Harry Potter series absolutely destroyed by the whole J.K. Rowling situation, right? Because I'm a massive advocate for the LGBTQ community and for trans people, and that entire situation, frankly, has pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I touched on this in a tag video on my channel a little while back, right? I am as free as J.K. Rowling is to post her beliefs. I am equally within my rights to say, fuck you, I hate those beliefs, or I disagree with those beliefs, because I know Zach's going to jump on me for the word hate.
We can have a debate about that off screen.
But I'm not going to turn round to anyone and say, you shouldn't read Harry Potter anymore. You should burn all the copies of your books, because that series is dog shit now. I'm just not going to do that. At the
Right.
end of the day, I'm actually fairly envious of the people that can separate author from work. Unfortunately, I just haven't been able to do that, and the whole thing has soured my my nostalgia for it. But at the same time, I'm not going to go around trying to pressure other people to feel the same way as me. And I just think that this is a problem that we have in society in general, is that everyone feels like they have to change people's minds. And I think for the most part, we all just need to chill the fuck out and just agree to disagree sometimes.
I do agree. There are some things in that, and that comes down to a case by case thing in a lot of cases where we have to learn to agree to disagree. There are some things where you have to have cultural unity, or else you can't have a country, as we're seeing across the West. That is a growing issue. But when it comes to art, that is absolutely one of the places where we should all agree to disagree, and people can like what they like. And
I don't get me wrong, I wasn't extending that way of thinking to anything other than literature, because to be frank, I don't want to discuss anything other than literature in this context. But
right.
But, yeah.
But yeah, so and to my generalization of people on the left, it's not so much that I think every single one of them is that way. It's a generalization because it's generally true. There are exceptions here and there. Tulsi Gabbard, just as a name drop, would be a good exception to that. I respect her. I think she's a good person who doesn't just conform with, the group. But she's an exception on the left. And yeah, the cultural implications of the behavior of the left is that art is disappearing because people act like, well, if I don't like this, you aren't allowed to like it. And it's happening everywhere. How many people remember, I think her name was Anita Kasparian, and then Gamergate, and it's like, I'm sorry that you don't like that men like sexually attractive women, and you aren't traditionally beauty by most men's standards. That doesn't give you the right to try to cancel a video game. Like, sorry, men like looking at pretty women, and that includes in video games. Boo-hoo.
I mean, some men like looking at pretty men too.
Yeah.
Men looking at both.
Yeah, that's true. And you will never see a male gamer be like, Kratos is over-sexualized. He needs to have more armor on. Like, that's just not gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
No dude is gonna be like, yeah, put clothes on Kratos. It's gay as fuck. No, we're gonna be like, dude, Kratos looks badass as fuck. And then an awesome half-naked chick walks on, and we're like, fuck yeah. It's like, the thought to cancel a video game because something is in there that people don't like, that never crosses an actual gamer's head. They're just there to enjoy the art. And it should be that way with all forms of art. If you go into art looking for something to object to, you're not going into it because you enjoy art. You're going into it with a fucking social agenda. And frankly, I don't want to know you or hang out with you or hear anything you have to say. If that's how you think art is supposed to be used.
And Lauren says, I disagree with J.K. Rowling's ideas, but will always love the Harry Potter series.
See, and I'm just going to say it. I support the things that J.K. Rowling has said. I think all of her takes have been fair and well-worded, and I don't think she's overtly hateful, and I don't think she wishes anything bad upon people. But the fact that she has a point with some of the stuff she's saying is proven true by the fact that you go through anything she says on Twitter. Literally, she could post, I love cats, and there will be trans activists in her Twitter thread literally threatening to rape her to death. That's not a joke. I've seen the tweets, and they're still alive. You can go find them. This is shit people say to her because of her difference of idea.
Yeah, but Zach, look, any reasonable person, right, no reasonable person is going to think that those sort of threats are justified, right?
Right.
As I said, I'm a massive advocate for the community, Okay, I have friends and have had many friends throughout the years that have been under many different sections of the LGBTQ umbrella, right? There's no way that I would ever say that you should go and use those sort of threats, because all you're doing at that point is undermining your own point. All you're
Agreed.
doing at that point is damaging the reasonable people who
Yeah.
make reasonable points in argument.
Right.
So, but what you sort of tried to do there was say that because those people make those threats, you know, that means that her points are justified.
I'm saying
And
that her points have a little more evidence behind them. I'm saying, so what some of the stuff she has said is that the trans ideology puts women in women's only spaces in danger. And the fact that you have threads and threads and threads of transsexual individuals threatening to rape her to death is, if nothing else, evidence of that. Like, it's undeniable that someone's saying, I'm going to rape you until you're dead, and you go to their picture, and they're transgender, so they can now access the same traditionally women's only spaces that the person they just threatened to rape to death can access. I'm sorry, it's a 1, 2, 3 train of logic. It's not hard to figure out, and we know that crazy people on the internet follow through with their threats. How many psychos with a manifesto that they published on Reddit have gone out and actually done the shooting? How many people who said, I'm going to come to your house and rape you in someone's Facebook or Instagram DMs actually went and did it? We know that these people act on their threats sometimes. So it's unrefutable evidence that she has a point in what she's saying.
But here's the thing, right? And this has always been my problem, and I fucking hate that I brought this up, because I knew that we were going to be apart on this issue.
Hey, we can peacefully disagree, man.
Yeah, I know. Here's the problem that I've always had with it, is that this whole trans debate that Rowling has started has turned transness into a feminist issue argument, and it is completely ignoring the fact that not all transgender people are transitioning from a man to a woman.
That's true.
Not all transgender people are coming out as being transgender females. If you know, and I will use that term because I know that is the right term to use in this debate. But it completely nullifies the fact that you have non-binary people, you have transgender males, and it's just such a... The argument gets filed down into this one particular corner and turns the issue into something so narrow compared to what it should be.
Well, and the reason for that, though, is because it didn't start with J.K. Rowling turning it into a feminist issue. Where a lot of it comes from is the fact that they have found a way to better advertise it that way, especially in the United States, because that is one of the most predominant when it comes to like big tech, overreach, broadcasting. That is what is happening over here. Specifically, they are turning it into a feminist issue because the trans community here in the United States has it in their mind to erase woman.
Yeah.
That's where that's from. So, I mean, no, it isn't a feminist issue everywhere. And the fact that that is being created as a blanket smokescreen is a huge problem. But where that comes from is not specifically the J.K. Rowling situation, though. That is what's going on.
Yeah, to be fair, that's the only reason I use that example is because that was A, one of the most prominent examples that I've seen, and B, was the first time that I was sort of exposed to this sort of debate, really.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that a lot of the community here specifically have used that as sort of their, I don't know, instrument to kind of, say, oh, well, these are the kind of people that we're targeting because they, they don't fit our ideology. Woman is a state of mind. It's not, biology and all of this stuff. No, I mean, once a month, not to get TMI here, but once a month, I would very much like for being a woman to be a state of mind. But it's not. This is biology. This is something you have to live with, and it does not require being a biologist to define what being a woman is either.
Right. And I feel the need, because we live in the day and age we live in, I feel the need to take a pause on the whole thing here and clearly state the fact that Team Adventurous has no hate towards anyone.
No.
We have no animosity towards any specific community other than towards the individuals in that community who are doing things that we see as harmful to themselves, the community, the culture at large. If people would just live and let live, I would have absolutely no problem completely ignoring, and of course you should have rights. Of course you should be able to live in peace. Of course you should live a life free from discrimination. I was never arguing that. My issue is when you take opportunities away from women by putting a dude in a fucking onesie and saying he can swim with the ladies. That's fucked up.
Right. Yeah. No, if you are a man and you still have, your junk and you're, swimming in a woman's competition, you should not be called a woman and, the best woman swimmer. No. Because you are not.
You are not. Like, I'm sorry, when I can see your dick through your swimsuit, sorry, you shouldn't be swimming. Like, frankly, even if you had the surgery, because you still have the extra lung capacity, you still have the bigger heart, you still have the stronger muscles. You went through puberty as a man, we're getting too far away from literature now. To cycle all this back.
But basically what I'm trying to say is the great thing about the fact that we are all humans and that we live in this world and that it is as varied as it is what makes it awesome. Is the fact that everybody should be allowed to be themselves, say what they want to say, do what they want to do, whatever, as long as it's not, maiming anyone, killing anyone, or, destroying everything. You should be allowed to be yourself, because free will is the greatest gift we were ever given.
Essentially, extremists on any end of any spectrum are shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd agree with that.
It's the problem.
I would agree with that to a certain extent. Just a little bit of it, and let me go with me here, just a little bit of it in the back of your mind so that you are capable of reaching for those extremes when the times call for them, that is acceptable. But we live in this time where everyone is going on extreme mode all the fucking time. Going to those ultra mega super extremist places of belief, that's like when your life is on the line in the moment kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That should not be your default setting to approach life and society and all that shit. But people, they're out here thinking that their life is 100 every second of every day. Their life and their rights is in danger from the existential threat of the enemy, and it's always the other guy, never yourself, who's to blame. It's a very scary state of affairs.
So, in summary, I guess we could say, people, save your drama for the page.
Yeah, that would be good.
At the same time, with because I can tell you're trying to sort of wrap this up, but I did have some thoughts in terms of, so this statement of wokeness kills art.
Right.
It's a strange one for me, because I think, as we've discussed in private before, I think that maybe the climates that we live in maybe have sort of different definitions of wokeness. But
Right.
one of the things that I think is really important with the way that society has moved into is representation is really important on certain levels, right? Because
Right.
so I'm only going to talk about from my personal experience here, right? Because I don't want to try and talk for any other group of people. So I'm just going to talk from a blindness perspective.
Okay.
I have been searching for so long to try and find a character that could represent me, or that I could relate to. Obviously, there are characters that I can relate to just on a human level, right? But other than Daredevil, there are hardly any blind characters out there, right? And fucking Daredevil doesn't even count, because his superpower makes it so that he's not blind.
Right. Effectively.
And yeah, and I just think that the fact that we're trying to put an emphasis on having those characters that people can read and see themselves in. I'm writing Blurry, right? And one of the things that I started writing Blurry for was because I thought, you know what? When I was growing up, if I could have bought a book that was about a kid going through the thing that I was going through, that could have helped me. And when I've finished Blurry, if I can ever get it published, man, the idea that it could help someone that was going through the things that I went through and teach them some of the lessons that I learned through those experiences, God, that would make everything worth it. You know, if some teenager who was going through sight loss and was feeling just all those things that I felt as a teenager, I could pick that up and be like, this dude fucking gets it. You know, and I just think, on one hand, what you're saying is true, right? Because I do agree that the extremism and the mob mentality of trying to force other people into thinking the way that you do and saying, I don't like this person, so you can't. I do agree that sort of thing is very harmful to art. But at the same time, the idea of trying to make literature a place where you can have these diverse representations, I think, is a really important thing.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's why we've talked about it before. I would never tell anyone coming to Adventurous Publications, this is in your book, so we're not going to publish it, again, unless it's one of those extreme moral inadequacies like glorification of Nazism or pedophilia. You know, I'm not saying that I don't, of course it's fine to write representation for all kinds of groups and give them their time in the sun and talk about people's stories in a way that makes them feel seen and heard and like people understand what's going on in their lives. I think that's one of the most important things a writer can do. And of course every group and every life experience deserves to have at least something in the literary sphere that suits that need. Of course.
Yeah. But
well, let's not get it twisted. It's not like that's not something that you've tried to do with Gordon as well. I'm not trying to say, well, I'm left of center and what I'm trying to do is really important. Big up to you trying to raise awareness of mental health issues and stuff like that. So I'm definitely not trying to say that that's not something that you find important as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't think that I did not think that's what you were saying. I just understood that you wanted to make the point.
But I believe also that representation is something that should be done organically.
Yeah.
People should do it of their own free will and not because, like, well, for instance, what with Trad Pub and big media and all of them are doing, they're doing it in such a way that they're like, okay, well, you are only acceptable with your art if you tick all of these boxes,
Right.
period, the end, because they're doing it in a way that's kind of like that really annoying person that's trying to be overly accepting of everyone to try and show everybody that they're not.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong.
Racist or ableist piece of shit, and so they're like, oh well, look at your pretty hair and your pretty skin. Can I touch your hair? Whatever. Oh, you're so great because you're a this, or oh, look at you, you're so amazing because you're a that. This is a person who just so happens to have this thing as a part of their life. It's not necessarily the end all to be all of their identity.
Right.
So write it respectfully.
Oh well, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
The people who try to be overly accepting and step into the bounds of ableism definitely exist. I mean, take the woman. Yeah. Take the woman. Just a few weeks ago, I was standing outside a supermarket. Lee went in because it was a bit busy, so she left me outside because she didn't want to have to try and maneuver me around all these people, right? So I'm just standing there, minding my own business, waiting for her. This woman comes up to me and she goes, "Are you okay? Are you lost?"
Oh my god.
So I'm standing there with my cane, so she knows that I'm blind.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm literally standing there, leaning against a wall. I said to Lee, look, fair enough if I was wandering around looking lost. But this woman has seen blind person and thought, that dude needs help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what's so insidious about that is it comes from a good place, obviously the desire to help, but that person doesn't realize that their immaturity and lack of forethought has now wounded someone else's pride or feelings. And that's where, doing a good job of raising your kids is so important, so people know, I need to learn to read the situation a little bit.
Oh my god. Nikki just said, common question for a blind person.
Right.
And Lauren followed up with, like yesterday, stranger said, bless you for being brave to go to the grocery store.
Yes. Yes. Get that shit all the time. I don't know how you do it. I don't think I could live without sight. Oh, well, I should just go and kill myself then, shouldn't I?
Right.
But yeah, I get what you mean in terms of forcing representation and doing it non-organically is definitely just as harmful sometimes as not doing it at all.
I would argue more harmful, because something that's popping up, I think that what people don't understand is that when you force them to pay attention to something that they don't want to pay attention to, they begin to resent it. So forced representation is actually more harmful than just ignoring the group. Because now you're creating people who hate that group.
Yeah, because if I was to keep on writing blurry, and the whole thing was just, I'm losing my sight and I'm going blind and I'm sad about it and that's it, and just the whole thing was just that.
Yeah.
Then people would be like, yeah, Lenny, fuck, we get it, Jesus.
Right.
But, there is more to it than that, because it's also, I'm trying to tell a coming of age story as well. I'm trying to talk about friendships and yeah, there's aspects of how Lenny's visual impairment affects his friendships, but it's one of those where you can't keep it a one issue thing, because if you keep hammering it home, eventually people will just be like, yeah, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And Nikki says, or getting a job or not getting a job due to having a cane. I'm sure between the three of us we could create a list.
Oh yeah.
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 literally the first video on my channel was with the stupidest questions that I've been asked as a blind person, or the stupidest questions I could find on the internet as well that were about blind people.
That's the one where we talked about how you know when your butt's been wiped.
Yeah, being wiped. Look, I live in Britain. I don't have a manservant. Okay.
My butt's been wiped. Hashtag poopy pants Biden.
Jeeves, do I still have skid marks?
Bring the royal ass. What? Hey man, your country is the country that gave, or was it that France, Caitlin? Was that Britain or France?
Well, both. Medieval
But first, but who started it? Do you know?
started it. If I'm not mistaken, it was.
Let's not play the blame game.
It was Britain.
Yes, they had the royal ass wipe.
The royal ass wipe.
Yes, the royal ass
Excuse me, sire. You still have a bit of corn on your starfish. Very good. Very good, Gerald.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is better. We had a serious intellectual conversation
Yep.
that made me slightly uncomfortable, and now we're back to starfish. So
Hey, I'm sorry. We don't mean to put you on the spot, buddy. I just can't be anything less than honest.
no. I think this has gone better than I imagined it would.
Oh yeah, like I said, man, we can have a peaceful disagreement, and like I said, we all agree that everyone deserves rights. Everyone deserves to live in peace. You know, there's no fundamental disagreement about anything. There's just procedural disagreements on how we think these things should go about, and that's stuff that should be talked about peacefully and considerately.
For sure.
You know, intelligent conversations don't last long on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
What you don't know is that Zach has an hourglass, and when the when the sand gets through to the other side of the glass, intellectual conversation's over.
And that hourglass exists inside my skull, by the way. It's called my attention span.
or is it something that the frog on the cupcake is playing with?
Well, the frog on the cupcake is the hourglass. He always hops off in the same number of seconds.
Oh, that's why you stare at it so intently. 'Cause you're like, I'm waiting for him to get off the cupcake.
Zach, what's smaller, your attention span or your emotional maturity?
Oh, my attention span, for sure. For sure. Not even a question, mate. My attention span is so much smaller than my emotional maturity, which has made leaps and bounds in the past few years. But yeah, man. You almost had me with that one, Mason. Now, if you'd said which is smaller, your attention span or your dick, I might have had to think about it for a second.
Oh my god.
Your attention span or your heart?
Oh, my heart's huge. Did I just say my emotional maturity's off the chain, bro?
No, I meant the literal size of your heart.
Oh yeah, I'm dying from tiny heart syndrome. I probably won't make it next week, honestly. I'm going in.
Heart syndrome. You're a doctor.
I'm getting a pig's heart this Wednesday, but they said, it's probably not going to work because, it came out of a pig.
Oh my god.
They'll be able to grow one soon.
They really will be able to grow human organs soon, and that will be a beautiful day for science. No more organ waiting lists. That will be, yeah.
Yeah. They.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are dystopian possibilities in that scenario, but if they can cure my blindness, who cares?
Hey, yeah, that's a good question, Mason. Why couldn't you get an eye transplant?
I don't know. They just don't do that. I have no idea why that is not a thing.
I'm pretty sure it's scientifically possible. Gonna have to look into that. Figure out why they don't do that. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that here in the U.S. they do.
Cause I thought, yeah, cause they did a whole movie about this girl. It's called The Eye. It was this girl. She was blind for a really long time, and she got eye transplants from a cadaver. And the cadaver was of this girl who apparently had this gift to see the future.
That sounds like fiction, Caitlin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the story itself was fictional, but I'm saying they.
I think what you got to remember is there are so many things that affect that. There are so many different eye conditions. Blindness
Right.
isn't caused by. I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure me and Lauren and Nikki, have entirely different problems. They'll probably overlap. But, with me having glaucoma, there's a lot of optic nerve damage,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, Nikki says depends on the strain of what caused your blindness.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
I'm sure that does play a factor. And if you're rich, yeah, that might very well be a factor too, for sure. That is definitely
I'm
one
sure
of the
Bill
problems.
Gates could have had new eyes by now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, any day now, he's probably gonna get that fancy new 8-year-old child's heart. Not because the kid died of natural causes or anything, just because he wanted a younger heart. Am I calling Bill Gates evil? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love how we've gone so far off the beaten path here. We were supposed to. Oh man, this has been a roller coaster ride.
This is
I know.
usually what happens in We Are a Genius.
This is what happens in We Are a Genius.
Yeah. If you guys go back and watch the first episodes on my channel.
Yep. Oh yeah. Those was the days, Caitlin. Back before the Twitch. Back before any of this, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't you love how?
Your new British best friend.
And before the British best friend.
Or the
In
British
our
best
case,
friend.
our retina gets worse over time. Yeah, and see, with the retina getting worse over time, that's because of your genetic condition. And so, if you got a new retina that didn't have that inborn genetic issue, but it would depend on how, because I don't know the exact mechanics of how your condition affects your cells, so it's possible your condition would ruin the new eyes too.
Well, I
That's-
suffered a retinal detachment, which is why I lost the sight in my left eye.
Well, yeah, see, if you could see, and so you suffered a retinal detachment, which means if you could just get an eye transplant in that eye, you'd probably have sight in that eye.
Yeah, but we have the NHS, so
Right. Right. Yeah. Healthcare, that's one thing about healthcare. It's not that it's better in Canada or the UK. It just sucks in different ways.
oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. The people that work on the NHS are absolute heroes, but there's also only so much they can do when the system works the way that it does.
Oh, yeah, I'm not blaming the actual healthcare. I think people that go into the profession of nursing and doctoring, they're in it to try to heal people. It's politicians and rule makers who fuck things up.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
With
Every
whatever
time.
we're talking about.
Exactly. Yep, but man, Mason, I'll make a conservative out of you yet.
Oh man.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover on the We Are Genius topic then? Points you wanted to make?
Not really. We've kind of gone off the rails so far. We're not even. Oh, David Sheriff.
Yeah, Nikki says, but BBS affects your entire body, not just the eyes.
Yeah, I am aware. I did a little bit of I did like 2 or 3 minutes of reading on it after you guys told me that's what you guys were afflicted with. And let me just say that sucks. My heart goes out to you guys. Attention span, just like
Genius.
I just like
Alright,
officially
he
clipping the segment.
He researched your condition, guys. He ain't looked up mine.
I didn't need to look up Totally Blind, Mason. I know what that is.
Yeah. Okay, because it was just a spontaneous thing and wasn't caused by anything whatsoever.
I mean, look, man. You said you had infections and your eyes didn't work so good from the get-go. And you had surgeries as a baby and all that kind of shit, man. It sounds like you were just born with some bad eyes, bro.
What's your condition? Because I need to research what makes you such an utter dick.
Well, I have at least one friend who swears up and down that I'm on the spectrum.
No, I think you're just a dickhead.
I mean, that's entirely possible. I mean, I have a dickhead. I am a dickhead. Who's to say for sure? You know, I suck dickhead. I've had dickhead in my butt. You know, these are all within the realm of possibility.
Confessions of a Peeper.
Oh my god. The double entendre there is immaculate. It was so flawless, Caitlin. He just came and he was like, the jugular.
From the Valdez Doyle of comedy.
I kills him. I kills him dead. I would say I'm the Dolge of comedy, but Dolge is already a fairly comedic protagonist. Right? Yeah. It's like I wrote him to be a protagonist who's at least somewhat funny.
Really? When?
Fuck you.
It's okay, I can say those sort of things because I've left you so many paragraphs of how much I love him.
What I'm gonna do too, I'm gonna compile all of those into a video. No, motherfucker, into a video. I'm gonna do a video where I go through and read them and just use it as like marketing stuff. Cause like honestly, dude, your paragraphs of endorsement of my writing say more than I ever could about how good my book is.
So great. Nikki says learning new things about Zach and Mason today.
Yeah, we're just full of surprises. That's why he's in the dark, you know, so there's always a little bit more to give. Someday we're gonna see in 10 years we'll see just his thumb. And then he'll be like, all right, 10 more years for the next finger.
I'll give you a finger, Zach.
He's like, I'm actually giving you 2 fingers right now.
Oh yeah? Where are you gonna give them to me? Caitlin, where do you think he's gonna give it to me?
In the starfish.
Right,
What? It is starfish! Caitlin, what does the scouter say about his bumhole?
It's been rumpled.
What? Rumpled?
It's alright. It's alright, Nikki. I'm full of surprises. Zach's full of shit.
I am the shit guy!
Oh my god. Nikki says, I thought he was in the dark so we don't see him jerking off.
Yep, I've ejaculated at least twice on this stream and you had no idea. I sit down to prepare for this stream. Headphones, keyboard, Kleenex.
some Grail porno bags.
Braille porno mags. I told you before, Zach, that Zach, I've told you before that Pornhub has audio-described videos, right?
I went and watched some of them, bro.
Yeah.
They are
we laugh
not sexy,
at
but they're
them.
hilarious.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. The girl who does them.
You should-
Oh, man. Yeah.
If only you could do a reaction stream to one of them, it would be the best
Oh my
thing ever.
God.
We could do just the audio. We could do just the audio.
Yeah, we could do just the audio because we tried to record a reaction to them and he kept sharing the screen. And
Yep.
I was like, no! Oh God, no! he's like, fuck, shit, damn it, I'm gonna have to cut this out.
And then it ended up happening so many times, I was just like, I'm just deleting the whole video. We'll just do it again sometime.
You're like, never mind.
Oh dear me.
It's like there were so many dicks in the recording now. God, how many ads about dicks can there possibly be on a porn site? It turns out a lot.
It's like, well, because we're on a porn site, so that's kind
Yeah,
of...
well, you did click on Gangbang Central?
Dude, for real though, there does seem to be a lot of that shit on the hub. It's like, watch these 8 dudes fuck this one girl. I'm good. I'll pass, actually, on that, thanks.
She doesn't even have that many holes.
Exactly. Like, a gangbang should never exceed 3 dudes, okay?
Unless she's had them sewn in like that creature from the Prose Police. That would have been a completely different story.
Oh my god. A vagina monster that's just had artificial vaginas created all over its body and it could just like service like 10 dudes at once. Oh my god.
Please write that, Kate. I know you can do it.
Yep.
Just shake and bake us that story.
Shake and bake us that story, Kate.
Yes. Oh my god. The vagina monster.
It's the vagina monster.
But everyone has to think that it's super sexy. Like,
Yeah.
just no one can acknowledge the fact that it's just unnatural that it has like 50 vaginas.
Like, it's just covered in vaginas. Or that it is, like, it's like an optical illusion, so it looks like a person, and then, like, you see under the layers that it's just, like, covered in vaginas. And then but you see it, like, even closer, and you realize that it is just one great big vagina.
It'd be like, in the Matrix, how they have all the plugs down their back.
Yes!
But vaginas.
Yep. I can visualize it right now. It's like horrifying yet beautiful in an eldritch sort of way. Caitlin, you are now the new Chuck Tingle. you are female Chuck Tingle. You must write that. You shall call it Attack of the Eldritch Vagina. No, it has to Attack of the Alpha Eldritch Vagina.
Oh my god. Yep, and we have to. Oh man, and the cover is gonna have to look like one of those like early 1960s B movie.
Yes. Yes.
No, you needs a hardcover with a dust sleeve, and the dust sleeve needs to be the labia. And then you open it up.
I was about to make a sleeve joke too, and then Mason beat me to it.
Oh, let's hope everyone checked out after We Are Genius.
Oh man, I mean there was plenty. I mean the really bad stuff was inside We Are a Genius. Now we're just being stupid.
Oh.
Oh man. This is what it's all about, folks. Chilling on a nice chilly Saturday, dude. Atterday, because I word good.
Chilling on a Saturday.
He offer, we promise.
I do the words. I have been known to for be doing the words so good, yes.
He 3 books written now.
Folks, sometimes I do the right. Sometimes I even novel a bit. In them, I put the characters. The words sometimes are what I use. Sometimes just write, ah!
We do the words good right here.
What we don't know is that Zach just doesn't write Garden at all. Kate's actually the author, but she just doesn't want as much credit. She just hires Zach to be the ego guy.
Oh my god. Oh.
She's like, I think it would sell this book better if I told people it was based off the protagonist, but then it's written in first person, so it would make sense if you were the marketing guy, and if that was her goal all along, then I have abysmally failed because my sales are not that good yet.
Oh man, but yeah, try selling that idea though, considering the fact that, well, I didn't meet you
Until after I'd written it, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It was on the market before I ever, or was it? No. I talked to you before it released.
Well, I mean, but it was already written and.
Yes, I'm saying, but it wasn't on sale yet. I met you before it was on sale, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was up for pre-sale when I knew you. I mean, the file was already uploaded, and then there were the clerical errors where people got the not yet finished edited version, and I sent that out to reviewers, which frankly they probably just saw my email and were like, I don't know this person, delete. I imagine that's what all the booktubers, not gonna name any names, Daniel Green, Murphy Lapierre.
Oh,
The gateway booktubers.
The gateway booktube. They are fact. Wait, are you saying gateway like they're the people you find that introduce you to booktube, or are you saying they're like?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, facts.
Man.
And then once you've found the rest of booktube, then you don't tend to listen to them anymore.
Right.
At
That is
least
facts.
in my case, I found Daniel Green, I found Murphy, and then I realized, holy shit, booktube's this whole thing.
Right.
Now I don't listen to either of them anymore.
I still occasionally tune into a Murphy video because sometimes she has some fairly insightful things to say, and Daniel does some funny skits. But other than that, yeah, I pretty much don't go to their channels either.
Did you read what was his bloody novella called? Breach of Peace, was it?
Breach of Peace, yeah. And it's on the list. It's one of those things I'm going to get to eventually. Although I will say I think it's vastly overpriced. But I will buy it and do a review on that at some point.
Yeah.
Or Prose Police.
Oh!
Yeah, you should.
Hey, let's do it, Caitlin.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's take on one of the most popular people in our community.
Hey, man.
It's up his rabid fans.
Hey, here at Team Adventurous, we punch up, motherfucker.
That's right. Ooh, hey. Ooh,
Especially Mason, because he's so short.
Fucking knew that was coming.
I was like, wait, I have to interrupt Kate or I won't get to it. I have to make this joke.
I have to do it. But I mean, yeah, because we figured out that you were 5'5", and we were like, wait, you're only 2 inches taller than me.
They're both fun-sized. I could toss both of them onto the bed and have my way with them aggressively.
I don't think Lee would be happy about that.
I imagine she wouldn't be. And frankly, I'm more scared of her than I am of you.
Oh, you definitely should be. Definitely should be.
Just based on what you've told me.
If a burglar ever breaks in, I'm hiding behind her.
Oh my
What were you
God.
trying to say before Green Thumb interrupted you?
Oh, well, I was saying we should, the other person we haven't Prose Police yet is Jenna.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could Prose Police Jenna. That would be a good idea. I would be down for that.
Yeah.
Have you,
Get through
Mason?
all the author tubers.
Yeah.
Hey, it, you know what? I'm willing to throw shit where shit deserves to be thrown, man. And, for that matter, sprinkle a little bit of fairy dust and sprinkles where it deserves to be sprinkled. And, I'm sorry, the majority of author and booktube, that little corner of author and booktube that pretends Jenna isn't a really good writer so that they can get the I'm punching up clout, when in reality it's just that I'm hating this thing because all the other sheep are hating this thing clout. I fucking hate that entire little corner of booktube. It's like you are all the most disingenuous, lying ass motherfuckers. Like that individual, I will call her, over on Unwanted Book Club, especially in modern YA. Bitch! Jenna said on camera in front of her entire audience in the world that it's not YA. Shut the fuck up! You
Exactly.
disingenuous liar.
Yeah.
God, Zach, can you just try to care a little bit more, please? Because you're just coming, you're a bit too chill on this subject.
Laura says yes. Prose Police all author tubers.
You know what? Okay, that's divine mandate from our fellow adventurer. Well, I won't say divine mandate because she is merely human, but that is a mandate from our fellow adventurer, author Lauren Adele over on YouTube, who is linked in the fellow adventurer section of Team Adventurous's YouTube channels. With exception, I don't know if Mason's linked her. She's on the core channels, my channel, Kate's channel, IYFA, and Adventurous Publications. I just can't make the other members do, things because I'm not actually their boss.
Well, in the channel description, are you talking about?
No. So there's a section there. If you go into the back end of YouTube, you can do customized channel and do featured channels and label the group of featured channels. So I have all of our channels in Team Adventurous, and then underneath that, Lauren and Nicole are fellow adventurers. And that is an open offer to anyone who joins BookTube and AuthorTube and is a regular part of the audience and comes and communicates or submits their work to us. That is an open spot, that fellow adventurer slot, to come and be part of the adventure.
So that's Daniel Green we've got on the docket then, and Jenna. Who else can we do? Is Alexa done? Is she one?
Yeah, and I've been meaning to shit all over her work for a meantime.
Trap Hub. She's definitely on the docket.
We could do as well. We could do Cyborg Tinker, but we did a Prose Police of Cyborg Tinker, and it's no longer exists. No, wait, hang on. I'm not sure if it's deleted because it might still be up on Rumble. I'll have to check and see if it's there. If it's not, we'll redo it. Because I know Mason will have plenty of things to say about Cyborg Tinker.
Yeah. Well, we should probably do a new one anyway.
Why is that?
Because I'm here, clearly.
Because Mason is here.
Kavanaugh is... Kate Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh.
I've never heard of her.
Kate Kavanaugh. Yeah.
Never heard of her.
Oh, is she the girl that does all of those write like such and such author for a day videos? I think that's how I got introduced to her.
That's how Zach started Garden. He thought, I'll write like Tolkien for a day. And, and he's just never been able to stop.
You are too kind, sir.
I like how it's simultaneously a dig and a compliment.
Yeah.
It's like I imitated somebody, but I imitated somebody so good that I ended up being great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I real talk though. It's not so much that I am imitating Tolkien. I'm just trying to bring some of that scope back to writing. Some of that, you know, who's done a Tolkien like universe since? I mean, Dresden comes close. He's got over 20 books in now. So actually Dresden is really built up and there's a lot of depth there. But it doesn't quite have the same epic expansiveness. And then there's Red Rising, but the same issue. There's a lot of world building, but the same level of epic expansiveness and just amount of material describing the world doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's...
I think if you ask most people, they'd probably say Sanderson.
Yeah.
I can't personally speak on that because I've only read Mistborn, but I think at least Sanderson fans would say that.
He does quite an expansive canon.
Is all of his stuff
Funny
connected?
Oh yeah, the Cosmere. Like,
Yeah.
I think most of his books are set in the same. I'm not quite clear on how it is. I think they're all set on different planets within the same cosmos.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And there is a reading order that if you read it in, you will get more out of it. Because I think from what I've seen, there are references in, references to this book in this book and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because you can read them out of order, and they somewhat are able to stand on their own. But it is better if you go back and do actually read them in order. And my brother Jordan actually discovered that recently. But he's also got the same irritation that I do with the fact that Sanderson has this thing about getting to like a really in-depth like, part of the story where he acts like he's going to pay something off from before, and then he's like, "Yep, wait for it, again, go." But you just can't stop reading, even though you're just really irritated. You're like, "Damn it!" Okay.
I think. Now, obviously, there's by no means is this a comment on its skill, because I would never deign to to say that I know what I'm talking about. But just from a personal experience, I read Mistborn, and there was nothing about it that, I read all three, and there was just nothing about it that made me go, you know what, I absolutely need to pick up Era 2 right now, or you know what, I absolutely need to get to Stormlight right now. I read the trilogy, and I was just like, okay, that was fine, and now I've had that experience.
Yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, it's more like a I could go back for that later. Which,
oh damn, the Dragonlance Chronicles by Margaret Harris. 70 books in the series. Jesus.
yeah.
How does someone even? That's like the whole Stephen King thing, isn't it? It's like, how does someone even write that many books?
Well, you apply ass to chair, and
Yeah.
you get to it. That's how.
Yeah, but when does he eat? When does he sleep? When does he make love to his wife?
Yeah, that is an important priority.
Well, if you listen to him doing the audio version of On Writing, he actually goes into all of that.
What, including the making love to his wife thing?
Yes, even that.
Does he really?
He is not abashed. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, right. I was joking, but
That's kind of funny. He's like, and after I wrote it, I went into my room with my wife and I fucked her. I fucked my wife. Right after writing the gangbang scene. And you know what? I'm unashamed.
Well, because I mean,
sometimes I make love to her while I'm writing. He's there, typing away. She's under the table.
Oh my god.
sounds like it would be very creatively stimulating.
Did I just reach the end of the line, or is someone ringing my bell?
Oh, Jesus. Ring my balls!
Nikki says
Deck the ball. Go ahead.
Nikki says it starts with Dragonlance and branch into sub-series. It's written by 2 authors and is based on a D&D.
Yep. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm excited to get to the rest of Delgy's story, but I'm also really fascinated to see what you're gonna do after. Obviously, you can't tell me anything because for all I know, at the end of Delgy's story, Gordon gets blown up. But I'm just fascinated to see what you do with the rest, do after.
Or this could all turn out to be like one great big fever dream.
Oh, I swear if that's how you end this, I will end you.
Caitlin has put this forward. Caitlin has put that forward multiple times, and I'm like, Caitlin.
I did it as a joke because I wanted Mason's reaction.
I swear, if I put all that time into the garden, and it turned out to be a dream, I would literally buy a plane ticket. I would march over there, and I would shove the biggest pickle I could find in your starfish.
And pickles are pretty big over here. We don't have those little sandwich pickles that y'all have. We got some girthy boys over here.
And he was like, he'd be like, and I would make sure that it was not a kosher pickle.
Kosher dills, kosher dick.
Oh my god. Oh, so yeah.
Oh man.
So.
Okay, so that's worst possible ending for Gordon. What's worst possible ending for the Bleeding Ground? Actually, don't say that, because what if you say the actual ending?
Here's the worst possible ending for Bleeding Ground. Evander and Valdis decide that they're not so different and marry each other. That's the worst possible ending for that.
I knew he was gonna do that to whatever you said.
Damn it, I've already written that scene. I was on a when I said I was on a roll the other day, I was writing their marriage scene.
Oh my
you,
god!
Evander Fletcher, take Valdis Doyle to be your lawfully wedded husband in sickness in health, for richer for poorer.
And then Evander's like, I do, and he pulls a sword out of nowhere and stabs fucking Valdis through the skull, right from under the chin. And then everyone's like, oh! And Evander's like, I had to gain his trust.
To death do we part.
This summer, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone. Listen. I love you too, Valdez. Okay, I love you too, Valdez. But you did horrible things to my village.
You killed my family.
No, you were Valdez. Remember? Arnold is Valdez. Rocky is Evander.
No, it's Schwarzenegger playing both parts, but but when he plays Evander, he's digitally altered to look younger. Like he plays Valdez as now Arnie, but Evander is like Predator Arnie.
Oh my god!
That is great.
Oh my god! And so where do we best fit the Italian stallion in there? So I guess the Italian stallion could be like that slumlord dude you were telling me about. He's like, this is beautiful. I didn't think there'd be such a remarkable spectacle at this wedding. I'm glad I didn't turn down my invitation.
No, Stallone's too busy. He's too busy filming the Garden movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because he's got to do the motion capture for Goliath.
Yeah.
So don't call him the Italian stallion for nothing. Goliath is my wife's nickname.
Oh my god. That is hilarious.
Yes.
Oh my god, dude. I can't wait till you see what I do with that horse. I don't know if you'll be mad or happy about it.
And that was not suggestive at all.
No, not at all.
As long as he doesn't die or turn out to be a secret shaman shifter that's like a spy in Delge's camp, then we're okay.
Well, so I mean, shifters don't go full animal in my story. They're humanoid. They're
That's right.
They're anthropomorphized. So that would have to be now. The Dreamsmiths can cast illusions, but the fact that Dolge is immune to dreamsmithing precludes that possibility. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm kind of distracted by thinking of terrible casting choices.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah. Who would we? Man, let's cast the Garden really quick. I would obviously have to play Dolge because obviously.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher to play who?
Delge.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
He was coming up with horrible casting ideas.
I mean, Ashton Kutcher's not a terrible actor. He just wouldn't be a good fit for Dolge.
Right, he would be a terrible casting choice.
The Rock as the Dark One.
Can you smell what the Dark One is cooking? The people's darkness.
Oh,
Seth Rogen as Engiel.
Oh God. I hate you for saying those words. Can I kill you, please?
We're doing terrible casting choices.
Yeah, that's okay. Who? Amnes and Angel, go.
Well, obviously, Amnes has to be Kristen Stewart. And Angel has to be Robert Pattinson in a wig.
I fucking hate you because you know where the story's going. You know how the love dynamic has shifted, and you just casted Angel as a dude and made the actual female character an actual female actress. Man, fuck you.
No, okay, Angel. Britney Spears. Not even an actress.
Britney Spears as Angel? She's way too tall.
No, Jennifer Aniston.
Ooh, now would it be
Bad
like
casting.
like Jennifer Aniston now, or like Friends era Jennifer?
No, yeah, you have to digitally alter her again.
I mean,
There's the VFX budget for Garden, it has to be huge.
oh, it would have to be huge anyways. The shifting is, oh god, it's actually, think of if you've seen Underworld, think of the shifting in Underworld when you think of the shifters in my book, at least the ones who actually transform. There's also steady state shifters, which we'll get into in a few chapters.
Woohoo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who would you pick for terrible casting choices for Valdus and Evander then? I would say for Bleeding Ground, but we literally only have those two characters so far.
So, oh no, I mean we could cast the thugs from the Fire too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and John, and
And John.
and Cove Girl, who is
Yep.
as of yet unnamed.
Yeah.
So, man, for Valdis, Michael Cera plays Valdis. and then Adam Sandler plays Evander.
Oh my god.
Woo!
That Cove scene with Adam Sandler doing the whole. Did he hurt you?
Wait, no, I said Michael Cera. Michael Cera is
yeah.
Valdis.
Oh.
He has to channel his character from. Is this the end? Oh, what was it? The bloody Apocalypse one that he did with Seth Rogen?
Oh, see,
Where he was all like coked up and.
I didn't even see that movie.
He's great in that movie because he play obviously they all play themselves, but in that he's all like coked up and like hitting on Rihanna and stuff like that.
See, you say the movie's great, and you say that Michael Cera plays himself,
No.
which immediately tells me it's not great because I fucking hate that dude.
So who would the bandits be then?
The Bandits. Okay. Ooh, you know what? Let's get the Three Stooges to play.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Let's get to play, and then the one that's like, this is iffy, I'm not doing this. That guy can be played by what's that dude? Fuck. The dude who played the first War Machine in the Iron Man movies, not after he was replaced by Don Cheadle, but the first dude who played War Machine. Yeah. So he could be the bandit with like misgivings about what's going on, and then the lead brute bandit we'll cast Hawthor Bjornsson. Or no, you know what? Ben, I rescind that previous casting choice. We'll make the one with misgivings, Eddie Hall.
Excellent.
Oh God, fuck yeah.
At some point we need to do this again, but with good casting. But I'd need a second to actually think about people that would.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, most of most of my choices would be so outdated because I am not up to pop culture these days.
Oh, neither am
As you
I.
can tell by Seth Rogen, Jennifer Aniston, the other ones that I picked.
I mean, both of them. Jennifer Aniston and Seth Rogen are both still relevant. Aniston less so, she's kind of tapering off, but Rogen is definitely still relevant. Not because he's talented or anything, but he is relevant.
He's like, I'm still here.
He's like, hey guys, I'm still making fart and weed jokes.
I don't find him funny anymore, but I will fight you when it comes to those early, like Pineapple Express.
Dude, Pineapple Express was hilarious. Pineapple Express was hilarious, no doubt. And Zach and Miri make a porno. That was pretty funny.
And Knocked Up as well.
I don't remember Knocked Up. I don't remember Knocked Up as much.
It was the one he did with Katherine Heigl.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that one.
Steals that film for me anyway.
Yeah.
In fact, no. Who plays Paul Rudd's wife in that? Is it? I always get her name mixed up. Is it Leslie Mann? Is it?
I think so.
And she has that scene where she's trying to get into the club, and the guy won't let her in, and she's all like poking him in the chest, and she's like, "You're just a doorman, doorman, doorman." That fucking scene kills me.
Oh my god.
And he takes her aside, and he's all like, "Look, I'd love to personally, I'd hit that, and I'd love to let you in here, but I'm only allowed like one black girl for every 50 white girls."
Oh my god.
Oh, man. Now I might have to see that movie. And to circle back to Paul Rudd really quick, I actually really like him as an actor. I actually think Paul Rudd is a pretty good actor.
He's quite diverse, really, if you think about, the differences between like his comedic roles, and obviously I haven't seen Ant-Man, but I assume, it's a different role to what he usually plays.
What do you mean, obviously? You still go to the movies.
I do, occasionally, yeah. But I also have, I don't think I've ever watched a full Marvel film other than, I think the only one from the MCU that I've watched in total is the first Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Oh.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
The thing is, though, is that I just didn't care to start with, and by the time it started sounding interesting, they were getting towards Endgame, and I was like, I've missed this train.
Yeah.
Like 50 movies already, and I'm never gonna catch up, and I know so many spoilers already, and it's just.
Oh, I promise you.
That train has passed me by.
No, that train hasn't passed you by, bro. You could watch all the movies in a week. If you sat down and you said, okay, I'm going to catch up with the MCU, you could easily do it in a week if you just made it a priority. Obviously, you're not going to do that because you got your walk-in and your writing and your channel, all of which is more important. But, like 3 months, you could catch up. And it's worth it. The MCU is pretty good. I'm not like a lot, something that pisses me off. A lot of conservative commentators, I've noticed, like to pretend that the MCU isn't really good. And it's like, look, okay, guys, I get it. Fuck Hollywood, bunch of pedos, left-wing assholes, I get it. But that doesn't mean that all of the art they produce sucks. Like, the MCU is really good, actually, for the most part. There's a few duds. You're never going to find a film project like that's so expansive that doesn't have a few duds. Brie Larson.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, man, for the most part, the MCU is great.
To be fair, I enjoyed that Spider-Man film. I can never remember what the first one's called. The first Tom Holland one.
Welcome Home.
Homecoming, is it?
Homecoming, yeah.
But I I have never been a fan of like mechanical Spider-Man. I just don't see the point. I'm like, dude, if he has the whole suit thing, then what is his power? Because I don't understand.
Because, so, you gotta realize that Spider-Man originally invented the Iron Spider suit with Tony because he was dealing with shit that was too strong for him. So it's right out of the comics. And when you think about some of the shit that exists in the Marvel-verse that is evil, it makes perfect sense that Parker would make something to boost him up a little bit because, I mean, Spider-Man's powerful as shit, but he's actually, like, still a lightweight contender in the MCU. Like, yeah, that dude, man. Like, well, just Thanos is right out of the MCU, man. Think about the power difference between Peter Parker and Thanos. Peter Parker's strong, but Thanos would wipe the floor with him.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh man.
It's
Mason,
funny-
you got. I was about to say you got all
funny that-
quiet. Sorry, go ahead. God damn it! Go ahead, Mason.
I was saying it's funny that we were talking about casting because the two people that I've been trying to channel when like practicing Evander's voice is Richard Armitage and Sean Bean, basically.
Yeah.
Just like a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Nice. I fuck with that. You should. Who do you channel for Valdis?
Right, okay. So the closest thing I can think to somebody who suits Valdis is actually a woman. But have you ever heard of the show Wentworth?
Nope.
So Wentworth is a remake of an old Australian soap called Prisoner Cell Block H. But Wentworth is this like, it's like this remake of it that went in its whole own direction. It's super gritty, super good, and so the villain in it, the main villain that runs throughout the series, is called Joan Ferguson, and she is an absolute psycho. But she just, when I'm doing lines for Valdis, I can't help but think of her. She has a bit in one of the series where she's sort of like psychologically torturing one of the prisoners, and there's this whole bit where she's like, "You're worthless, pointless, nothing," and and whenever I do Valdis, it just makes me think of that, like that particular side of Ferguson.
You know, so many characters in Garden are based off of real people, and the ones that aren't are kind of like these ideas I have of archetype characters and how I would put that, you know, so either someone is based off a real person or their character is an archetype character molded to fit the exact role that they're in the book. And I don't channel anyone besides the people who the character is actually based off of for the real characters, but the characters that I have the archetypes for, I've never actually like assigned them a real person or an actor or another character in a book to model. I always just kind of like thought of how I think that archetype character would best fit this role and really tried to build them from scratch. You know what I mean?
What about you, Kate, with Kahana?
Well, I would have to say it's kind of that question that a lot of writers get of where do you get your ideas from. The answer to that really is they just show up. And I have to get to know them as I'm building them, really.
Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Do you
it's more like
do you build character profiles and stuff like that, or is it just more of a I'm gonna write you and see what sort of thing you say? You know?
well, I started like when I first got started, like back when I was a teenager, I started with building them via, character profiles. I would sit down and emulate that person and have them fill out a form, basically, because I have a very strange way that my brain is constructed, and so I'm like, okay, well, I get all of these ideas, so basically to acknowledge the ideas that I'm getting, because you know how sometimes when you're working on a project and another idea will ambush you, and it's like, oh, well, you're trying to finish this project, so here's this other new shiny idea that you need to do, because your brain is in creative mode right now. So I would have everyone take a number, and basically when I got to them, I would have them fill out a form when I started out, but now it's not really so much like that. I've gotten to the point where I can just naturally, whenever I sit down to write a character, it's very intuitive. It just happens. If that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense, because that's sort of how it is for me. I haven't sat down and made any sort of profile for anyone that I'm gonna have in the Bleeding Ground. Obviously so far Evander hasn't had a chance to show much character yet, which is something that I want to solve with this next chapter. But with Valdus, that whole thing in that last chapter was just literally just basically him being like, "Hey Mason, I want to do this," and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, because that's one thing I would have to say that I have enjoyed about dealing with the world next door.
I'm so excited to finally read that.
Man, like I was telling Mason the other day, I was laughing at Heath because I was like, "Damn, you're so stupid. Like, what is wrong with you?" But I'm thinking I made him, so
He's like, "I am as you made me, mother."
Right, exactly. But at the same time, I'm laughing at him because I'm like, wow, you're dumb.
I sort of felt like that with Hob in the last chapter. Like, oh Hob, what are you like? You've gotten yourself into a situation you just it's just so far behind you right now.
Oh man, yeah, cause he gets to this point, and I'm not gonna be too spoilery because I mean, if you read the description, everybody pretty much knows. Basically, Heath is this guy that's got severe anxiety, and he's agoraphobic, and all of this stuff, and basically his condition has gotten to a point that it's pretty much crippled him, and so he's desperate, and he goes looking for a way to alleviate his suffering, and as a last-ditch effort, he goes trolling the internet and comes across this post that this guy made about this method of quantum jumping through water, and so he does it, and it happens, and he ends up, well, waking up the next day, so to speak, and he's completely alone. But at the end of the description, I say, or so it would appear. Because he's not actually, which you find out later. But there's an entire scene, and this is part of why I was laughing at him for being so stupid, because he's having a full-on meltdown about, oh no, I did this, I drowned myself in the bath, and now I'm in hell because I am an idiot. I did it wrong, and so he's having a full-on freak out. I knew I should have had a religious professional present, You know, basically going like full on catastrophizing everything, and it's so great because it just like completely unleashed like just full on anxiety meltdown. But at the same time, me reading it, I was laughing my ass off because I was like, oh my god, you're so stupid. That is not what's going on at all.
You're so stupid for not having the knowledge that I have in my head for this world that I created that you have no idea about.
Exactly! And I put you here!
Silly ant. It is funny when you get in that zone while you're writing, though, because, like I say, it was like that with Valdus in that last chapter, where it just, like that whole section just before he goes into the cove was just so, you know, I just felt like I should have a mustache that I should be twirling as I was writing it. Like every time I pressed the space bar, the lightning flashed behind me.
Oh my god. You're like, whoa.
A symphony of screams, and he was the conductor. Yes. Excellent.
You'd be like, fuck all of you in theater and with your instruction of, well, you should never enjoy yourself too much. And I'm like, fuck you.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy this.
Well, so they tell you that because they don't want you to break character. But it's like, I have the ability to submerge into the character so deeply that I take on their mannerism. I method act, motherfucker.
Exactly. It's like, and you know, it's the enjoyment. I personally felt it was the enjoyment of everyone's reaction that actually fueled it.
Yeah. Yeah, like even for me, just with you two, like writing that whole bit with the cove scene, it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see how Zach and Kate react to this.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's funny though because Lee just makes fun of Valdus for being a posh boy. Lee's all like, let me get my cheese and wine.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's my reaction about 5 minutes ago when I realised that we were still live.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually just starting to look for someone to raid out to.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like any of our regular people are on.
You know what made me laugh? I'm not
What?
sure whether it was. I think it was last week's Wednesday stream, and you picked someone to raid, but as you sent everyone over to them, they were sending their audience.
Yeah, they were raiding out to someone at the same time. It's like, what are we doing? It's like,
Is anyone even still here anymore?
No, yeah, we got a few people lurking. Lurking. And I found someone to raid out. This is someone who's doing art and reading. So we're gonna check this out. Yeah, so everyone, this has been Adventurous After Dark. If you haven't already, please hit that follow button. We do all kinds of stuff on this Twitch, not just this Saturday show. This is our art project kind of thing, you know. This is the content we make to try to prove we're smart, believe it or not.
Which is why we talked about vagina monsters and pickles in starfishes and all the other things that we talked about.
Yeah,
Right.
because that's what mature intellectuals talk about.
Right.
You know.
Hey, guys, guess what? Actually, I have my own custom URL now. So if you head over to youtube.com/Mason in the Dark,
Nice.
that's where you can find me on YouTube.
And you should find him. Yeah, that's good that you set up your custom URL. Those are handy, and they're good for marketing. Yeah, man. Fucking proud of you, bro. You're moving on up, and I'm totally here for it.
Moving on up.
So, oh, excuse me. Not host. So, yes, this has been Team Adventurous. This has been Team Adventurous. We thank you all so much for being here. Of course, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us and all of our merch and our Linktree and everything here in the About section of this Twitch. Go check out Mason in the Dark on YouTube. If you think he's funny here, just wait until you see the stuff he scripts. Alrighty. So,
Everyone's
yeah.
funny after 50 takes.
Everyone's funny after 50 takes. Oh, man. That's good. I would actually disagree with that. I would go the opposite direction and say that the more takes you do, the less funny you get because you're getting tired. But anyways.
Well, then you obviously haven't listened to my content.
I mean, if you're telling me it takes 50 takes, then damn. All right, bro. But anyways.
50 takes.
But anyways, this has been Team Adventurous. Thank you. Welcome to the adventure. Da 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 da.